Hey everybody, so this week we're going from the full moon to the third quarter moon, and it's starting on May 29th, ending on June 6th. So the full moon is this time of culmination. The moon is at its fullest, at its peak, and we are most in tune with who we are. Our creations are coming to fruition. We're giving birth to what we wanted to create, the things we set our intentions for back in that new moon. And now that we've reached that point, the full moon, when we move into the third quarter moon, it's starting to wind down. It's starting to break things down so that we can get ready for the next new moon, the next setting of intentions. So the energy shift here can kind of cause a little bit of like tension unless you know how to step into it. So essentially, as we're celebrating and then going into the breaking down, just be aware that's what's happening. Being in tune with the cycles, something that we're not always in tune with. Knowing that this is just natural evolution and we're going to be back to this full moon again in 4 weeks, so it's not really a big worry. Just kind of flow with it. The full moon is in Sagittarius, which is all about hopes, optimism, and the big picture. It's about journey and expansion and learning experiences. And this is the first full moon we've actually had without Saturn and Sagittarius. And there's one thing I noticed during the Saturn and Sagittarius transit is that it left a lot of people shell-shocked when it comes to being hopeful. For that 2-year period from like 2016, 2017, it was just really, really hard for a lot of us to believe in ourselves, to believe in what we want to do. And the major theme was, if you're gonna go big or go home. And it really called on us to step up and get serious about what we're doing. And we're supposed to carry that with us now, but Saturn has moved on to Capricorn. So we're still focusing on what our big dreams we had. Don't lose the lesson Saturn taught you, otherwise somehow they'll show up again. But embrace them and kind of allow this full moon to be a really optimistic period for you. You've done the work and things can move forward in great big directions, so trust that. The third quarter moon is in Pisces, and the third quarter moon kind of requires us to step up a little bit too, especially with how we deal with this Pisces energy. So Pisces is dreamland. It's this beautiful spiritual energy where things are not always so defined, but we're very fantasy oriented. We're very in tune with what we want. But if our reality doesn't match that, it's easy to get disillusioned by that. And we can see other themes coming on this week too. So when that happens, get very serious about knowing that your dreams are guiding you, and your spirituality, your meditation, your connection to your soul can guide you. But if reality doesn't match, that's okay. The goal is to kind of meet the two in the middle. So what spiritual beliefs, subconscious beliefs are you holding that are creating your reality, or telling you that you deserve the reality you have, that it can't change, those kind of beliefs. And then what in your reality can you do to kind of make some changes to realign with your soul? So if it's rearranging or cleaning your space out, if it is doing something new, stretching yourself out of your comfort zone, whatever that is, go for it, especially with this full moon being in Sagittarius, and a big urge for a lot of us to break free. If you don't change your routine, if you don't change what you're doing, then it's going to be hard to break free from your routine and what you're kind of stuck in. So just be aware of that. And then the moon is going to go from the Sagittarius energy of what all is out there, expansion, seeing the world, experiencing things, to Capricorn. So okay, we've learned a little bit. It's on the 31st, it was into Capricorn. But we've learned a little bit. Now what can we do with this? What can we do with this knowledge? How can we apply it? And how can we get very disciplined about it? And then that time too, we're just very disciplined about taking care of our needs. And if you have any needs pop up, get them taken care of. It's not irresponsible to tune into your emotions. It's actually responsible, because your emotions are your foundations, and getting serious about that is what Capricorn moon's all about. Then on the Aquarius moon on the 2nd, it's going to be kind of this moment of how can I A, give back some of the nurturance I've gotten, and B, what's surprising me about my emotions that I need to tune into. So just listening to see what pops up and kind of going with that. Then the Pisces moon, which will end the week on the 5th, is just calling you to really tune into your soul needs and kind of relax and have fun and just give yourselves a lot of love, unconditional love for who you are, and kind of play with your imagination. Albert Einstein said it best when he said imaginations is life previews to upcoming attractions. So play around with that. Don't get attached, don't get disillusioned when things don't match your imagination. Just know that it's coming. on the May 29th, we do have Mercury moving into Gemini. So Mercury is the way you communicate, express yourself. It's also your mental interests. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So it's actually at home here. And Gemini energy is this beautiful, expressive energy. And it kind of has a short mental attention span. It likes to bounce around to different things. So this makes conversation great because we can kind of bounce around from a lot of different topics and really express who we are and what we need to. This is a great time to speak clearly and clear out that throat chakra if you need to. June 1st, Mercury is going to then trine Mars. So Mars is your energy for doing things. It's an Aquarius, which means a little bit unexpected. We're doing things a little bit weird. We're also waking up to new things we want to do, new ways of asserting ourselves. But Mercury, this ability to communicate very clearly, is flowing very well with this ability to assert ourselves in a unique way. So just know that whatever it is you want to do, whatever self-expression you're looking to do, it is flowing well on that June 1st, excuse me. Then we have Venus trine Jupiter retrograde that same day. So Venus is balancing, it's relating to other people. It's harmony, it's beauty, it's compromise, it's also what you're attracting. Jupiter is like Sagittarius, it's knowledge, it's experience, it's expansion. Currently it's retrograde and it's Scorpio, so we're a little bit internal with how we're expanding, but we're expanding within our own power. And we're seeing our own power and kind of experiencing the different facets of who we are that we maybe didn't know we had. And Venus right now is in Cancer, which is very nurturing and balancing of the emotions and taking care of the foundations. And so that energy is flowing perfectly because as we take care of the foundations, we open up a beautiful doorway for understanding more of who we are. And as we understand more of who we are, we can take care of our foundations even better because we know what we need and how to give that. And a trine, just to let you know, is a positive, harmonious aspect. It's considered the best aspect to kind of be in astrology. This flows perfectly. Then on June 2nd, Venus again trines Neptune. So this is a lot of positive energy for relationships in Venus. And even if you're in a partnership, the way you relate to other people, the way you receive goodness in the world, it's getting a nice, beautiful boost. So Neptune is this, it's like Pisces, this soul energy of just unconditional love and understanding and dreams and manifestation. It's in Pisces right now as well. So it's just right at home there with, we're feeling into with our soul and kind of just allowing the soul to lead us. And so when we do that, the ability to balance out our relationships and kind of our emotions and find comfort in the people we're around brings that like right at home. So it's like a soul connection or a connection to your soul with a partnership that just makes you feel so good, so safe. Especially with Cancer being the energy we kind of ground to this earth with, and Neptune being our soul, it's kind of important to ground our soul with this earth. And we're doing that through our relationship with other people, which is really beautiful. And what we're receiving, the good that we're receiving. And if you struggle to receive, sit with a little bit, like when you meditate, with your palms up like this and kind of feel that energy. Because I think sometimes people don't know how to receive, but that's how. Then on June, or that's the way to start it. Then on June 5th, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury. So a conjunction is when the planets are the exact same part of the sky. They're blended together. They're expressing as one. So the Sun is your heart. It's your who you are. It's your core. It's the spotlight. It's just how it's just you. Mercury is that communication. So this is a great day to really communicate, especially because both are in Gemini, which is a communication sign. So if there's anything you need to say or want to say or desire to say in relation to who you are or your creativity, your life force, share. And even too, if you feel like leading a thought process, this is good energy for that as well, shining a spotlight on a conversation that needs to happen, even if it's a lighthearted conversation or if it's a heavy conversation expressed in a lighthearted way. That can work for you. But communicate, have fun. Also too, if you feel yourself kind of scattered that day, don't worry. Have a couple different things you can do. Have a couple different things you can focus on that will allow you to bounce around, because that will help. Mercury does like to have a lot of things to do. Otherwise it gets bored and does not like to be contained into one thing. But then we have as well Venus opposite Pluto this day. So like I said, Venus is that relationship energy. It's in Cancer, so it's very home-oriented, comfort-oriented. Pluto is like Scorpio when I talk about Jupiter. It is this intense energy of you have one being and two being, and you bring them together, and when you do, you create a new energy. In order to kind of separate that, you have to kind of tear. It's life and death. So we have that life, and then we have that death. And that's a natural evolution. It's not a bad thing to have death, but releasing and letting go when it's ready to let go and knowing that new is coming. But Pluto essentially kind of just tears away what's not good for you anymore and helps you get down to the real raw goodness. It can kind of strip things sometimes, but it's also your shadow side. It's your fears. Anything you have gone through in a painful relationship, you put it in your Pluto backpack. And so you kind of have to unpack that to really move through things, to work through things, and not let your fears get in the way of relationships. It's in Capricorn, so we have to get really disciplined about doing this. We can't really be lazy when it comes to dealing with our shadow side, because also too, we're stepping into our own power, and we're using that power to really fulfill our purpose here. We're all getting called on this like destined purpose of how we're going to serve the world, and pulling that out requires that discipline of how you approach your inner shadows. But really with the Venus opposite, they're on opposite ends of the same spectrum. So Venus is like wanting comfort and Pluto is wanting discipline, and so it's really important to give room for both. Balance your relationships, but no, to balance your relationships too, you have to understand you have to work hard on your shadows. And to work hard on your shadows too, you have to have balanced emotions, because if your emotions are not where they need to be, if you feel imbalanced, insecure, when those Pluto stuff comes up, you're gonna get knocked off your feet and things are not gonna go well. So you kind of need to have both, but also watch out too, if you don't give yourself room to work through shadow stuff, or even if you don't know what you need to work through of, watch what comes up in a partnership with other people, what fears, what conversations. There might be a little bit of like fighting energy, but it's opening the door for healing. So just tune into that and see what it's telling you. And if things are getting rough, if it's healthy, separate from that person so you can kind of work through it and then come back and kind of communicate, apologize if you need to, or just communicate what you need to communicate. If you need to ask them to apologize, if that's where it feels right for you, then you can do that, but just kind of separate. Or if it works better to kind of work through the issues together and have conversations through it, that works as well. But just kind of give room for whatever works for you. Then on June 6th, we have Mercury, that mental mind energy, square Neptune. So Neptune is like the Pisces energy, and it's just the soul. It's the fantasy. It's what our soul desires. We have to watch out for disillusionment here when the things that we want our reality to be are not actually our reality yet. But square is tension. It's kind of a harsh aspect. We have to really work and see both sides. So the mind is currently just going and going and going and going, and our soul just wants us to really spend time relaxing and meditating and slowing down, getting in touch with what our soul wants to tell us. So really give room for both. Give room for your soul to speak to you and then your mind to go and do things. But really, if you are struggling with this reality, if it's not what you want it to be yet, because we're getting a lot of signs of like, it's coming, big things are here, we're getting it, we're breaking through, you have these things you're looking for, and it's like, well, where? They're here, but you just have to trust that, and trust that when they're ready to fully bloom, they will, because they could be here as a blossom, but they're planted and they're going to bloom, or a bud, excuse me. So just be patient and kind of wait for that to open up, because it will. And then after that, we have that third quarter moon where I was saying, you know, get disciplined about being open to dreaming, but not dependent on your dreams happening now. Things take time, especially good things. So trust that and allow that to kind of come into play. So to summarize things, essentially, we're at this point of just like celebration because things are finally a bit easier to move forward, but we're still holding ourselves to the same standards of like, we got big things to do, which is good, is important. Watch out for it towards the end of the week. A little bit of disillusionment about the actual process of making it all happen. It does take physical work to do things. I mean, part of it is the manifestation. Part of it's like the universe helping you and putting things into place when you need them to be. But part of that too is meeting the universe there. So knowing that balance kind of requires both you to do your work and the universe to come together. But first half of the week is extremely expressive, relationship, beautiful, oriented, communicative. The second half of the week, there's a little bit of tension there with things that are coming up from the shadows, with relationships, fears you might have, and any kind of like things you really were hoping would happen that didn't happen yet. So with those energies, just give yourself patience to work through them and know that they're temporary. So yes, the pain is there. The pain is meant to teach you something, and then you can move through that. I hope this video helps you guys with this week. It seems like a very important week. I hope you all enjoyed it though, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And of course I do readings, so if you are interested in that, let me know. I'll leave the info in the info section for YouTube and in the description for Facebook. But okay, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye bye, till next time.